hello YouTubular human beings on the other end of the screen. I've been trying to figure out what to say. I felt good today and I'm like, you know, I just want to record something and I want to post it. I don't care what it is, I'm going to post it. And I've been trying to figure out like what that is. You know, I've got like a bunch of outlines for videos at this point. I've got videos on my computer that are edited and ready to post and I just don't like them, and like videos that I haven't edited and they're all there ready to edit, and I've got outlines, and I'm a perfectionist. I will absolutely do a video on perfectionism. I'll do a video on like every little point that I'm talking about in most of my other videos at some point in my life. But for right now, I'm a perfectionist. It's kept me stagnated for a long ass time. Like for a long time I wouldn't clean stuff because I couldn't keep it clean. Like cleaning is an ongoing process. First off, it's building good habits, which I've finally done. And even with that, I can't keep everything as perfect as I would like it. So, you know, back like 10 years ago I'd be like, well, what's the point? Now I'm kind of like, okay, I get the point, it's functionality. But there's still a lot of people that I know who like think, you know, if your house isn't spotless, it's like, well, you're trying, or it's not clean. It's like, it's clean. It's how I like it. I don't fucking give a shit. Just like I saw this meme or post, I don't actually remember, the other day, and it was basically this person explaining that they heard, I think it was a teacher, say at some point, doing something 50% is, you have to really want to do something to be willing to do it 50%. Like, I never understood that. I wouldn't have understood that if I had read that meme or the whole post at any other time. And it explains what it means in the post, and I can barely remember the phrase, so I'm obviously not going to remember the explanation. But the point is, if you really want to get something done, then it doesn't matter about doing it perfectly. It doesn't matter about getting every little detail just right. And, you know, like, I'm a writer. I want my books to be perfect. Every little detail I want to be just right. And I'm the one who picks the details, and then I want an editing team, and that would be awesome to work with other people that can help me sort through all of that. But eventually, you're gonna have to put it out, right? And now I'm thinking of Jeff on Community doing the abs speech to Abed. So anyways, eventually you gotta put it out there, and it's not gonna be perfect because everybody has a very, very subjective view of the world, which is fair, and everybody has an opinion about everything. And most people's opinions do not line up, which is good. You know, we've got a society filled with unique people. That's really good. But at the core of it, it also means that what is perfect to you will not be perfect to everyone else. So the more I'm thinking about that, there's a point. I forget how I started this video, so I don't know which point I'm going back to here. But the more I think about it, oh yeah. Trying to record a video. So the more I think about it, and the more I'm doing really good in life right now. Like on paper it doesn't look any different, but emotionally, mentally, I feel good. Just, that's it. And that is such a stride from where I was. So I want to do things. I want to be a writer. I want to go explore the world. These are the things that I wanted to do my whole life. And I got to a point where I kind of just went like, people like me don't do that. People like me are stoners. And that's it. That's all we ever become or amount to, whatever, however you want to look at it. And that's fine. And there's a reason I became a stoner, and it's not necessarily stoners never amount to anything, but people like me, this is our life that we get, and that's okay. And like in my other video that I posted, which is What is Success, which is the reason I felt comfortable posting about it, is the video didn't have to be perfect. That's the point of the video. It's the same with this one. So how do I go from there to where I want to be? Like I said, I'm a perfectionist. So, you know, if I want to be a writer, I want to be a great writer. Well, no, I don't. I want to be a writer. I want to be able to put my experiences to paper and hopefully to make a career out of that. That's it. Just like have enough to get by. That would be beautiful. That's my goal without the perfectionism involved. And that's kind of where I'm going with the whole video, with the whole perfectionist thing. And my goal, you know, as a YouTuber is just to start putting my opinions out there, because I think that a lot of what I'm thinking and doing right now could help a lot of people. The more, like, if I talk to people in short bursts, I encourage them. And I know it. The people that know me really well, you know, they know how messed up I am, so that's not quite the same thing. But people that, like, I have just quick interactions with and it's on a good day and a positive day, I know that I encourage them. So I kind of want to do videos that can do that for people. And I know that I can be way more encouraging than who I actually am, which is a very pessimistic person. But, at the core of it is this whole perfectionist thing, you know? Well, I want to help people, but I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to put videos out there that can be damaging to people. Same thing I don't want to do with my books. And in publishing last year, like self-publishing for the first time, like I self-published whenever I was a teenager, but that went really badly. It actually didn't sell like same as these, and that's fine. But the reason that I think it went badly is because it wasn't a book that I should have published. I don't think it had a good message in it, and I'm incredibly disappointed in myself as a writer for having published it. These books are different. I self-published them. I don't think that they're great works of art, but they're decent books. Like, all right, these are my first goes. Just take it. But that one I don't think was good. So there is a contrast here between being a perfectionist and wanting your books to be perfect before you put them out, and just being able to be a perfectionist for yourself. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, your perfect self is not perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all flawed. But your perfect self is someone who, you know, for me, like my perfect life isn't making a ton of money and doing like a bunch of things that I don't give a shit about doing. My perfect life is making enough to do these things that I want to do, to go explore, to go just do amazing things, mostly out in nature. And you do need money for that. I mean, you can go out in nature without money, and it gets dangerous fast. Like, all right, now we need to eat, guys. Grammar, the difference between let's eat grandma and let's eat grandma. So anyways, my mind goes to odd places. So, when it comes to things like this, things like vlogging, having a YouTube channel, things like, you know, social media in general, and being an influencer, that's the name of people who like are basically just models through social media, right? It's a lot harder than it seems, just because mostly it's nerve-wracking, like to me, I think that, but I also think I really overthink it because, you know, I started doing it whenever I was like 14, so I have a lot of like hormonal related emotional issues attached to vlogging, which is great. It's like just teen angst mixed with, ooh, I had a camera, whoops, and the internet, which is basically how kids are now, like kids under 10, so I don't know if that's good that they get ahead of it before, you know, teen angst and stuff come into play, or if that's just worse. I really don't even know. But all of this to say, to come back to my original point, is you need to start somewhere. This is also a meme that I read. Just start. Doesn't matter like what you're starting with. Start with what you've got. Start with where you are. Just start. And that's how I feel right now. And it's not just about vlogging. It's like things like I want to wake up at this time every day. And I just can't. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I really just can't. But that, alongside things like, you know, I want to quit smoking, I want to quit drinking so much, and all of this stuff. And drinking is a great example because I have cut back a lot in the last few months, but in my life I've fluctuated a lot with that, where in times of high stress I drink a lot more, and in times of low stress I don't. And I think this is the first time that I've really been through incredibly stressful circumstances since I stopped like drinking the last time there that I was. And I haven't gone back to it, like just even for a day, like, oh fuck, I need a drink, it's been too hard of a day. I haven't, and it's partially financial, but also because I have other things that I want to do. And I've replaced my maladaptive coping with regular coping tactics. Like, there's this one scene from The Emperor's New Groove where she gets really frustrated, and she goes, that kind of behavior, I gotta go wash something. And I've always thought of that just so, like, humorously, because I can't imagine, I couldn't imagine feeling like that, right? No, that's exactly what I do. I'm just like, okay, I'm really frustrated. I need to clean up the house. I need to go sit with my kids. I need to do something that I know is good for us. And it's good in the moment, and it's good for the future. And that, now that I've switched from, you know, oh, I need a joint, oh, I need a drink, to, oh, I need to, you know, go do something positive, like not necessarily productive. Like I can just be like, okay, I want to go sit with my kids and just watch TV for the rest of the day. I'm done. And I go sit with my kids. And a big thing that I think is really important, like there's a line here, is I've known people that have used their kids as emotional crutches. That's not what I'm talking about. If you feel like you're having like the worst day ever and your kid will cheer you up, you know, in some cases that is really healthy, like what I'm saying. But using your kid as an emotional crutch, like using your kid to cheer you up because you're having a bad day, I don't know how to explain the fucking difference between that. It's in a Kelly Clarkson song, I was so young you should have known better than to lean on me. It's different when you've got a handle on your emotions and you're going like, okay, now I'm gonna go sit with my kid because I know that'll make me feel better. You've got a handle on things. That's very different. If you are using your kid as an emotional crutch, that means that you haven't dealt with your emotions, or, you know, not necessarily you have to have dealt with them before going to sit with your kid, but you're not like an emotionally stable person necessarily, and it comes off onto your kid, and then your kid feels like they need to comfort you, and then you accept the comforting, because why would you not let your kid comfort you? Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I've said it's not your job to make me feel better. I've known a lot of parents that have said that, and then the kids keep trying, and it's like, okay, that's cool, thank you. And you don't go like, don't do that, like, how dare you try and cheer me up, I'm supposed to be the parent. Like, you don't do that. Kids will naturally try and cheer you up, but if you've got a handle on your emotions, then the kid trying to cheer you up will not be like the be all end all. Like, if this kid doesn't try and cheer me up, then like clearly they don't love me anymore, or I don't mean as much to them as they mean to me, stuff like that. That's where it becomes incredibly dangerous, to the point of abuse. Like, and I'm not saying like those people will turn around and start hitting their kids. Like, I'm thinking more narcissism, to be honest. And that can derail really quickly from just, oh, my kid's not helping me out anymore, to this kid is useless. What's the point? Why did I have this kid? Like, it can really derail. And it sounds like I'm talking out of my ass here, but anyways, to go back to my original point, the point isn't to lean on your kids. That's not the point. But going from a really, really unhealthy place of like, oh shit, I need to fucking smoke, like I really do. I haven't had cigarettes. This is the third time in a few months that I don't have cigarettes and I have to roll them. And for years, like if I didn't have cigarettes, even if I had papers and some tobacco, I've not had tobacco before, or papers, that's very different. But even if I've had it, I've felt very uncomfortable and very unsettled. And now I have to roll my cigarettes for a couple more days. it doesn't even bother me. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm smoking a lot less, and that's a good thing. I can really like not just chain smoke all day. That's pretty helpful. I could also breathe every now and then. So all of this to say, I think that a big part of a lot of people's healing is when you go from having those maladaptive habits, which are not good. Like even music. I adore music, but if I listen to it for like 5 hours because I had a stressful thing happen to me and I'm just like, okay, kids, I'm taking the TV and I put music on, that's not a big deal. 5 hours go by and I'm still listening to fucking music on the TV and I stole the TV and I'm not really paying attention and I'm just zoned into my music, which has happened. That's not a fucking drug or anything. That's just bad parenting and really bad coping, right? Maladaptive coping. And if you switch from all of that, like, you know, internalizing all of this stuff, and like I said, you know, you have to have a grasp on your emotions, so you do have to internalize it a little bit. But if you switch from stuff like, you know, listening to music and just being in your own world to going to do the dishes or going to pick up, and that's not fun. It's not like a switch that you can do overnight. It's taken me like years to actually go from all of these habits to all of these habits, but it's there now, where even just now I was going like, I don't want to do anything. I'm kind of bored, but I'm not really, like, I could watch TV, but it seems like a little bit pointless. I don't know how to explain that. You know, I kind of want to do something productive. I'm not tired enough to go to sleep. Going to sleep and waking up on time would be productive. But I'm not tired enough to go to sleep. That's my fucking problem, is I'm never tired enough to go to sleep until like 3 in the morning. And I don't have anything to do, so why not just sit and record a video? And I know that that's silly, like, okay, what's the video gonna be about? Like, that's just, you're just picking up something and doing it, but it's like, that's the point. It's not about like planning it all out. Like, I have someone that I know really, really well that has a really hard time keeping their house clean and organized. Mostly organized. The cleanliness, it's not even actually dirty. It's mostly a big clutter of stuff. The actual house is clean. It's very weird. So that person knew me really well, and I had a really hard time with all of that too, except my house was also dirty, so it was great. It was dirty and unorganized. So I've started organizing my house, and that person asked me, you know, like, how do I do it? What do I do to get it like that? And I'm like, I just do it. I just start, like, I've got this mess I gotta pick up, so, you know, I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna bring the taco truck over there, I'm gonna pick all the toys up off the floor, put them away, and then I'm gonna move on to the dishes. Actually, I already did the dishes. I'm gonna move on to the laundry. I gotta check that. Washing machine's breaking. But yeah, I'm gonna move on to the laundry, and then I'm gonna go, you know, pick up some stuff in the back room, and then it's gonna be done. And it seems like a bit of a smug, sarcastic answer, but that is what you have to do. You can't be worried about it being perfect. You can't be like, next time I clean my house, it's gonna be beautiful, and then it's never gonna be ugly again. It's not how it works. Like, the lower you keep your expectations, you will slowly build these good habits, and then your house may be perfect in like 5 years. You know, you'll be good enough at cleaning every day and habitualizing it and whatever, that you can keep the house as spotless as you want it, right? But it does not come overnight. And if you're not a person that has built these habits like from the start, then it's gonna take forever to actually go from not picking anything up to picking things up. Not even just having the house clean, just that little transition. And it's the same with everything. It's like I was saying with alcohol, and with, like I said, alcohol is a good example, so I'll go back to that now, which is, for a long ass time, I wanted to stop using alcohol as a crutch. And it took me until one day I just had a bad day and I refused to drink over it. And I was just not okay with it yet. And then I drank again for bad days after that. And slowly it started to you know, come up where I wasn't drinking whenever I had a bad day. It wasn't even the thing that I wanted to do anymore. The thing that I wanted to do was go do this productive thing. And again, that took years, and it takes years to build these things up. So whenever I say, you know, starting, like, that's it. And it comes from a meme, but that's really it. You don't start with any grandiose ideas. You don't start with high expectations. You just start, and you hope, and you keep up the hard work, and you do it. Whatever you want to do in life, fucking start it, because otherwise, what are you gonna do? YOLO, you only live once. Everybody's like all fucking for that nowadays, where it's like, live each moment like it's your last. You never know which day will be your last. YOLO, you only live once. All of that shit, and it's more like YOLO for you only live once for a really long time, if all goes well, right? Ironically, if you listen to, you know, YOLO and things about, like, life, like, you never know if things could end tomorrow, you're more likely to end your life. So, like, by doing silly, ridiculous things, right? So, you only live once, but for a really long time. So it's not about, like, you only live once, go out and try to do this awesome thing, and then whenever you're rejected or you can't do it, like, throw in the towel, because, well, you tried. That's not how it works. Like, you start with the bar here. Then once you get to here, then you move on to here. And slowly you will get to where you want to be. But if you start going, I want to get here tomorrow, you'll never do it. And I'm not saying, like, because you have no potential, I see nothing in you. First off, I don't see you. Secondly, everybody, I think, has the potential to lead the life that they want to lead. I really do think that. And not everybody has the circumstances. There are some messed up situations in the world, and yeah, some people just really are shit out of luck. But for most of us, I'm like on the lowest end of the poverty spectrum, and most of us really do have, like, most of us who are first world privileged there, which is like, you know, lowest end of poverty, we can still afford food and shelter and all of that, right? I forget where I was going with that. Yeah, I truly think that we all have the potential to do what we were meant to do what's in our hearts, you know? Like, I want to explore and I want to write. That's just always been who I am, and I love music. That's basically it. That forms my entire personality. And I don't think that, like, I think that most people, if you dig really deep into, like, the roots of who you are, it's like Tesla says, you know, if you can't state it in simple terms, then you don't understand it. I think that a lot of people don't understand themselves enough to state what they want in simple terms. And if you look inside and you just figure out, like, the simplest things that you want, then it's not that far out of reach. And then, you know, whatever it is that you want, it becomes this thing where it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit if I start and I start failing immediately. I am going for this, because what other point is there to life? You know, like, if you spend your whole day, you know, for example, smoking the day away and having absolutely no direction and being more or less bored with reality, to the point of maybe escaping it a lot through books and TV and whatnot, right? If that's who you want to be, that's one thing. Just, you know, have fun doing it. But if that's not who you want to be, then you're going to spend every day miserable doing the same things over and over again, and then never trying for anything else because you didn't start when it was convenient. And like this video is way longer than I meant it to be. And I don't even fucking care. I just want to start somewhere. And I think that that's something that a lot of people are not necessarily lacking, because I do think a lot of people take a lot of initiative in their life, but those of us with things like addictions and, you know, financial issues, like, let's put it like that, like real like instability and things that are just not easy for the people who don't have these things to understand, you know, abusive situations, mental illnesses, all of that stuff. Mental disorders too, they're different. I think that for those of us with all of that, it's a lot harder to understand that message of just start where you're at and start, because we want to be okay before we start. But the thing that is going to make us okay is to start. And it's not necessarily to start vlogging. It's find the thing that's going to start healing you and start doing it, and then go from there. You know, for me, it was the first thing that I really, really fixed was the alcohol. And I think I'm okay now, where, like, I'm not even in, like, AA. I've never had a drink. I drank last week, and then I didn't drink for a month before that, and then before that it was another month. Like, and it doesn't even bother me at all. And it's not even financial reasons. I've had extra money, and I haven't spent it on alcohol. I spent it on my kids. I gave both my kids a 20 the other day. That was great. Which is something that I couldn't do if I was drinking. I was drinking a lot. And even now, that's inflation for you. Whenever I was drinking a lot, I had more money than I do now that I'm fixing my bad habits. I have less money because of, you know, the whole everything kind of together, the economy plummeting, all of that fun stuff. So, like I said, alcohol is probably the first thing that I fixed. Actually, I'd say before that, I started working on my mindset, and I've been doing that for years, so that takes a long ass time. But even then, I wanted all of these bad habits that I have to be like kind of put away before I started doing things like vlogging or publishing. And I've come to realize, like, that's not even the point either. It's not about never smoking again and then like taking up the mantle and recording. I don't know. But it's more about not worrying about it. Like, okay, I'm a flawed individual. So is everybody on the fucking planet. And I don't have to necessarily put my flaws in the limelight. I mean, I'm doing that with this video, but I wouldn't have to. I'm only doing it because I think that a lot of other people can understand this and understand where I'm going, where I'm coming from, and where I'm trying to go with it. So, you know, I'm trying to heal. That's what this channel is about. And not just my healing, but healing collectively and fixing our humanity, because we've kind of shifted a lot to humanness. The difference being humanness is like our human side, like our more animalistic nature, and humanity is our more humane side. I really like those words since I found that out. I have the utmost faith in humanity, very little in humanness. But I think it's just about, you know, reconnecting with our humanity and being okay again. And I think, like, I look at the world and I just see so much darkness, and I don't want to contribute to that anymore. And I want to try and help people get out of it, because, like, what is going on in this world? So, starting. Don't worry about being a perfectionist. Like, just don't fucking worry about it. Everybody's got flaws. Everybody's got their shit. Don't be afraid of looking foolish. And just start with what you've got. Start where you're at. Starting. And I have this, which I thought was funny. I started out with nothing, and I still have most of it. Haha!